Okay, it looks like we're almost all here. So let's get started. Thank you again, everyone, for joining us this afternoon. It's 2 p.m. Madrid time, but I know it's early morning at some other parts in the evening for the other part of the world. So thank you again. Many of you already know me, but for those who don't, my name is Noelia, and I am in charge of the 24 Genetics Business Partner Program. Today, we're going to discuss with Manuel de la Mata, Principal Genetist at 24 Genetics, the new features about our new nutrigenetic test. And Nacho, CEO of the company, will also participate today with us. So just for you to know that from now, the question and answer option will be activated so that you can ask any questions, and at the end, we will dedicate a few minutes to resolve them. I want to give way to Nacho to say hello.
Hi, everyone. Nice to see so many people.
Nacho, we can't hear you.
I'm sorry. Let's check out.
It's
Can you
perfect.
hear me now?
Yes.
All right. Sorry about that. Well, welcome, everyone. It's amazing to see so many people from all over the world. I'm right now at BioFair in Boston. You guys can see. Sorry about that. I cannot be in the office for this webinar, but we have to be in the right place. And I think Boston is the right place for biotechnology. And biotechnology, you can see here, is just changing the world. And in front of the biotechnology, the DNA testing is right on the front of this change. So it is amazing to see, here in Boston, all these great companies going forward on biotech. It's just an amazing thing. And we're so excited today to show you our new nutrigenomics test that we have improved so much. And today, Manu is going to talk to you about what we have new in this test. And I can tell you, this nutrigenomic test is just far away from the competition right now. It's like 2 years in advance of any other nutrigenetics test that I can see. And yeah, I mean, we're in the future on wellness, and it is true that depending on which country in the world, it's not on the everyday business of the people to use this amazing data in order to organize their nutrition plans. But it is going to happen. I mean, what I see now in some regions, nobody makes a diet using their DNA data. As nobody, probably, I don't know, 90 years ago, there were people thinking about making a diet without even knowing how much they were weighing. But now they use a device to see that. That was probably the first thing they saw as a data that was pretty useful for them, right? DNA is the most important data we have about our body. And, to ignore that data is a huge mistake. It doesn't matter if you're taking care of your nutrition or taking care about your health or whatever. And in this company, we have the right test with the right technology, with the right science, and we have the right players to make sure that we follow our purpose, that is to help the people with genetics, to empower people with the use of genetics. So I hope you like our nutrigenetics test as much as we do. And this is not going to be the only new thing we have. We're gonna have also a new update on sports that we will. Well, it is already available, and as soon as we can, we will arrange a new webinar to tell you all the news about this new test. And from today till the end of the year, all our DNA tests are going to be upgraded. So it is something just great to see that we are able to improve our product to our customers all over again. And remember that this is just an amazing time to retake your relationships with your older customers. Sometimes you have a customer, you stop giving some services, and maybe 1 year later, you have lost the contact with that customer. But remember, you can go after this customer and just offer him for free an upgrade on the genetics test, and that will be a great moment to talk again about their health, about their well-being, and about nutrigenomics. So it's a nice way, giving something for free to get our customers back to service, back to revenue. And I think it's a very useful tool. And as I was telling you, everything's going to change with genetics. I mean, the world as we see it right now, in terms of caring about our health and wellness, is going to change dramatically. And we are right on the front of this change. And sometimes it's not easy, because sometimes we are in some regions around the world where it's not happening yet, but it will happen. And to be the first ones to be talking about this, to be the first ones that we are offering this DNA test to the customers, it will give us just a great position on the future of our businesses. At the end, when you see a company that is offering what is going to be as a regular basis, what everyone is going to use in the next 5-10 years, it gives us a very strong position. And I also wanted to talk to you about a new product that you can see right down here, microbiome. And yeah, that's our first multi-omic product. We started with DNA, but DNA is the most important part of the game, but it's just one part of the game. But our future will be multi-omics. That means at the end, our purpose is to be able to, the people and the professional parties that are playing with their wellness and health, we need to give them two things in order to make good decisions. One thing is data, another thing is knowledge. Data is something that we can read and we can put on a paper, right? Can be clinical data, can be DNA data, can be many things. In this case, microbiome. We started with microbes that we have in our mouth. Our new product is oral microbiome. So you have the data, and then you need the knowledge. That's one of the reasons why we're here today with Diego San Roman, that I got it here, our general manager, is that here, one of the purpose that is bringing us here is to get more knowledge, because the age of the scientific world in terms of DNA and multi-omics, RNA, microbiome, epigenetics, it is probably right here in Boston. So here we're working to get the right partners, the right scientific guys that are right in the front of the scientific world to get the best products. And thanks to all this effort, we're bringing our first multi-omic product. It's called microbiome, oral microbiome. This is already available on our website, and Noelia will send you your reseller prices pretty soon. And what we're doing with the same saliva kit that we're using for DNA, we take a little bit of saliva, we take it to a different lab, different country, different machine, and we're able to look for 10,000 different microbes on that saliva. And we have put some knowledge in our algorithms, and we are able to see the first thing, very typical things about the mouth, things that already exist in the market. It's about your problem about caries, your possibility problems about mouth cancer, also periodontitis. But we are far ahead. We have something that it doesn't exist in the entire world. There is no other company that has this product that we are able to see an association with lung cancer, and with pancreas cancer. So this is a totally breakthrough. So at this point, it's really a multi-omic solution as far as we can tell to our customers, you have a risk on lung cancer or pancreas cancer because of your DNA. We can see that. And now we can see an association with those cancer and the microbiome in the mouth. So it's more data, so you can activate more protocols, so you can make sure your people are safe in a very easy way. But that it will be a webinar for that thing also in the future. This year is going to be full of webinars. We have realized that we are not communicating with you guys in the right way to make sure that you all know all our products very well and the future of our products very well. So it's going to be an amazing year, amazing products. And well, I leave you with Noelia and Manu. I hope you enjoy it.
Wow, thank you so much, Nacho. It's amazing that you can be online today from the Boston Bio. So I think now it's time to start. I give the floor to Manu to start with the presentation.
So thanks a lot, Noelia, for this small presentation. So with your permission, I'm going to start my screen and let's check it out, this new update. So just before the beginning, I'm going to make some disclaimers for this new report. Before anything, this is a client example. This is not a real one, and we also modify this whole report for this exclusive session. So it's going to be shorter than the original one, which is around 40, 50 pages. Also, there is going to be some texts that we're going to see that they are in different color underline. That ones are going to be, in order to easier this special session for you. So the first thing that we have to acknowledge from this new nutrigenetic report is there are such a huge advances in different traits, new algorithms, new bioinformatic algorithms, new exclusive different bibliography that we are using. So such an amount of huge efforts that our multidisciplinary team has been working on. So to begin with, there is this table of contents. We're going to see an introduction, then we're going to head to the summary, and then last but not least, the different genetic results. So just to start with the introduction, we're going to just briefly explain how we obtain, the different genetic data from the saliva. So as maybe part of the audience may already know, we get the saliva from the client, then we extract the DNA and we genotype it. Once we genotype it, we have the different genetic output data, and we split it in different ways in order to get the exclusive different genetic traits. In those bioinformatic process, we are going to see we're going to divide it in different biological sex, and as far as we can do, we can also input different data from the ancestry. So if we are a male client and if we are a women client, there's going to be different traits. The reason why we are going to see different traits is quite easy to understand, is because some traits are just focused on women research, and there's other which are only focused on male. That's the reason why. So what about our algorithm? This is part of our core business. This is the key point of our business model. So we analyze thousands of different genetic researches around the world, so many different international databases, and we try to keep update our DNA knowledge, as Nacho, our CEO, already mentioned before. So here at the product team, we have been working, as I said before, in this whole new traits that are coming out in this new update. So about the methodology, we are using three kinds of methodology. We are using GWAS, which is a biostatistical analysis. So we compare thousands of different populations with health status through in front of versus different disease population. And at the end, we are gonna have bell Gauss, and we are gonna split in different genetic profiles. So we have people which is above the risk, and we have people which is below the risk, and we have people which are in the average risk. There is also other analysis, which is multivariate analysis. In the multivariate analysis, we are analyzing different genes and different markers in order to get one result, which is going to tell us, how your Mediterranean diet is working on, or how is your hypocaloric diet working, or what about your cholesterol levels, how they are working on in your body at the moment. And at the end, we have the univariate analysis. In the univariate analysis, there is just one marker in one gene that we are gonna, at the end, we are gonna have a result in order to find out what is my tendency to one exclusive trait. So what information do we offer? The information we offer is just predisposition. So when we're gonna get through all the different traits in the report, there's going to be Mediterranean diet, or it's going to be different vitamins. So we have to we have to focus and be aware that these are genetic predispositions, but they are also complex traits. So when we are talking about complex traits, we have to take into account also the different risks from parameters such as stress, or how much alcohol are you drinking at the moment, or how much sports are you doing. So as you may already know, environmental factors and the genetics are all of them in an holistic approach are working on in each trait. So what do you get from this genetic report? You get such a huge amount of genetic volume of data, which is already validated, and which already all our multidisciplinary team has work on and validate each trait. So one exclusive part of this introduction, we decided to dedicate to the variant. The variant is part of all the different reports that we are offering at the moment at 24 Genetics. And as you may already know, it's a permanent change in the DNA that comprises a gene and is what defines an individual predisposition. So in order to explain, what are the different variants, and if you are maybe a final client, there is such a huge amount of data, to process and understand. So that's the reason why we decided to make this exclusive part of the report. So what about the structure of the report? There are 5 different areas. We have diet and weight. We have pathologies and intolerances. We have vitamins and minerals. We have biomarkers, and then we have others. All right. So 5 different brand new areas in this whole new report. So getting to the diet and weight, we're gonna see, how the different Mediterranean diets are working on you, or protein diets, or sweet predisposition, or what about your overweight predisposition. Then in pathologies and intolerances, we have been working along with so many different seniors from clinicians and nutritionists, and they already we already talked about what are the main issues when a client or a patient is coming to my clinic, and in a counseling session, there are some issues coming out in the counseling session, such as what about my intolerances, or what about my DAO and migraine levels, or diabetes. So those traits are the ones that we are gonna get in this part of the report. Then vitamins and minerals. There is so many new vitamins and minerals coming out in this new update. We decided also to get 2 different a classification with 2 different ways of how we work out with the vitamins. So there are circulating levels, and we have storage levels. So along this new report, we will see how all of those work out. Then we get to biomarkers. In biomarkers, we are gonna talk about cholesterol levels. We're gonna talk about triglyceride levels, and how all of those are correlated from the genetic point of view. And last but not least, we get to others, where we are gonna see 2 traits which are also quite important, such as longevity and caffeine levels, how they are handled in our body through addiction, and also through anxiety levels. So then we have a frequently asked question. In the frequently asked question, there is a wide variety of new question and answers already resolved. because we are aware that the final client may be overwhelmed of such a huge amount of genetic information, we decide to also completely redesign this part of the report. And I'm going to emphasize just two small questions in this report, such as, are my genes the only thing that matters? As I said before in the introduction, we have to take into account that our genes are a matter of fact, they're quite important, but as a matter of fact, we have our stress levels or how much are we sleeping in our daily basis. And then we have nutrigenetic. Is a nutrigenetic test the same as food intolerances? So they are not the same tests. We are focusing in different areas of information. So we have to also acknowledge what are the different limitations in those different cases. So let's get to the summary. So in the summary, there is this big photo of how is our final client. How is his or her DNA status at the moment. All right. So is the part of the report that we are gonna use so much in our counseling sessions when we are getting to how are you managing your different diets or your overweight predisposition. So getting to diet and weight area, in the first area that we're gonna look through this whole new update, we can see new traits such as predisposition to fat intake or appetite and high protein diet or predisposition to snacking. All right. So in order to see how it works out, these different traits of this new area, we are gonna go through some of those in order to explain them. So just to before starting with this first trait, we have this first photo where we are gonna see the different parts of our report. So in this part is the basic step in order to understand how is everything working on. We're gonna have a description part, then we are gonna have in the right part of the screen, as we can see, a genetic map where there are the different genes that are working on and the different genotypes. And then at the end of each page, we're gonna see what do your genetics tell us. What's your genetic results, and then at the end of the page, we're gonna see the more information part where there is this bibliography where we can find out what are the different science and the nutrigenetic science that is backing all the different traits. So getting back to the diet and weight area, the first trait that we're going to see is effectiveness of the Mediterranean diet. So in terms of Mediterranean diet, as you may already know, part of the audience, but we already know that there are some clinicians in the audience, also nutritionists as well. Mediterranean diet is quite popular in the population, consuming or eating fresh fruits, fresh fish, and olive oil. There are so many different benefits in our daily basis. But from the genetic point of view, there are some genes that are already known from decades ago, such as FTO or LPL. Those genes, there are different markers that are gonna tell us how is our tendency to lose weight with this Mediterranean diet. So it's, as you may already be aware, is quite important when you are the final client to see how my diets are working on me in order to see if I am struggling or maybe some diet is working better than other. So then we have predisposition to overweight. This is just another example. Unfortunately, as you may already know, there are so many people struggling in the world with overweight and even though obesity. So from the genetic point of view, there has been so many studies from this FTO gene that we already seen in some other parts of the report because it's quite a multifunctional gene, and we can see the action in so many different metabolism ways. So coming back to the summary, coming back to this big photo of the final client, we're gonna be focused on different critical areas. So in this example, we can see that there is a risk for emotional eating, but there is also one risk for snacking, but there are also protective alleles or protective effects in order to, trying a low-fat diet, effectiveness of a low-fat diet, or in order to see if how I am facing the sweets consumption in my daily basis. So then we have pathologies and intolerances. As I said before, this is for me one of the most critical and interesting parts of the report. There is so many different new traits. There is cavities. There is my nutrigenetic tendency to celiac disease, iron deficiency anemia, lactose intolerances. So we're going to go through these different new examples of some traits, such as lactose intolerance. As you may already know, there is this whole new issue about how we metabolize lactose. So as you may already be aware, there is this increasing consumption of vegetarian drinks in the world, and part of the reasons that are behind this consumption is lactose intolerance as well. So from the nutrigenetic point of view, there is this MCM6 gene that is quite popular, quite famous in the intolerance in the lactose intolerance trait, and that's the reason why we include it in this part of the report. Then we have celiac disease. As you may already know, celiac disease is a huge problem right now in the world. So many people are struggling and suffering from having diarrhea or fatigue or weight loss because of this molecule that is wheat that is already inside the wheat or the rye or barley. So if we get the nutrigenetic point of view, there are a whole new genes that are coming out from different new researches, and that's the reason why we include it in the, as we can see in the right part of the screen. And we're gonna emphasize this IL-12A gene. This IL-12 gene is part of the pro-inflammatory family genes of genes, where it has a function in the inflammation process. So as you can see, it makes a lot of sense that celiac disease is quite correlated to IL-12A. So coming back to the big picture, in pathologies and intolerances, there is one critical effect in type 1 diabetes. This, in this case, this example, there is a negative effect for this diabetes, and there is a protective allele in terms of iron deficiency anemia. So those ones are the traits that we are going to emphasize in the counseling session, or the final client may be aware in order to, try to speak with a nutritionist or a dietitian in order to see what are, my best options or the best way for a personalized diet, which is at the end what we are trying is our main objective down here at 24 Genetics, to take the best actions and the best actions in our genetic health in order to live better, live longer. So then we have vitamins and minerals. As I said before, there is a bunch of new vitamins coming out in this new update. And as you may already be aware, there is a green color and a yellow color. So in yellow color, we're going to see the vitamins that are correlated to storage levels in our body. And then we have the green color, which is how I am correlated to circulating levels of this wide variety of vitamins. So let me explain you just two provitamins from the vitamin A, in this case, carotenoids, and then we're going to see retinol. So in the carotenoid levels, as you may already know, is provitamin A, which is quite important and is present in different ingredients or foods, such as plants, algae, or various bacteria. So from the genetic point of view, there is this PKD1E12 gene, and this gene is quite correlated to, how my metabolism is working out my carotenoid levels. Then we get to retinol levels. Retinol levels is quite common in the cosmetic industry, but it's also quite famous in the nutrigenetic world. So that's the reason why we include it in this part of the report. And there is this TTR and RBP4 gene, and those two different genes, there is a bioinformatic algorithm that is going to tell us what are my deficits in terms of retinol levels. So if we get back to the summary again, in terms of vitamins and minerals, there is a negative effect in this sample from B12 levels and iron levels. And then we have some protective alleles, such as in vitamin B6 levels or in vitamin D levels. So those ones are the ones that we are going to share with the final customer in our genetic counseling session, or the final client, may be aware in order to get a blood test and see what are the different balance from the genetic point of view and from the blood point of view. Then we get to biomarkers.
I just want to mention, excuse me, Manu, how important these kind of things are. For example, when you talk about DAO deficiency, the reason why we have this trait is that I have a dinner with one of my best friends. He has done the nutrigenomic test at the very beginning. And this guy had a lot of problem with fish and tomato and eating that. And it was a huge problem for him. So he was having this problem for like 5 years. And, a few months ago, he told me, hey, Nacho, I got a solution on my problems because the doctors told me that I have a problem with the protein DAO. And I said, whoa, if it's a protein, there should be something out of that in our genetics. So I called my team and please, guys, take a look at what's about the DAO protein and our DNA. So DAO protein is being done by our DNA, and we can read that gene, and we are able to see if some of our customers, they might have a problem with this DAO protein deficiency. And we made the algorithms. The first person who ran the algorithm with was my friend, and yes, he had that problem. So the thing is that if we had, that information from my friend 5 years ago, he could save 5 years of messing with all these problems and going to doctors. And at the end, the solution was pretty easy. He has before anytime he's gonna have food that needs this DAO protein, he just have to take a pill, that's all. And then he can eat anything. So these are the kind of things that, our test is so useful. For my friend, we will be able to save him 5 years of, having very uncomfortable digestions and too many visits to the doctors. And also in terms of vitamins, the same thing. In myself, I had a problem with white cells, and I always have the white cells pretty low. And the doctors were getting crazy to trying to find a reason. They never find it. And then we built up this company, and one of the first things we have was about white cells, and I have something on my DNA that it makes me just to build a small amount of white cells, but they're pretty strong because I never get sick. But anyway, I always have low levels. So all of these things, especially the biomarkers that Manu is going to talk now, and so important because sometimes, somebody's having high levels of cholesterol because of his or her eating behaviors. But sometimes that's not a problem. And you can focus on a problem that is stop eating, cheese and eggs and whatever. And that's not going to solve the solution because the problem, because at the end they have a predisposition on the DNA. So, we're talking about technical things and vitamins and stuff, but at the end of the day, behind all these traits are people with problems and with solutions, and that's what we're here for. Sorry, Manu, I couldn't stop myself for telling about these stories. Please.
Yeah, no worries. That's absolutely right. All you already see, or you already said. As Nacho said, this is a huge amount of volume of genetic data, and at the end we have so many different nutrigenetic tendencies that so many people is struggling in the world at the moment. And in all these clinics and in all these different nutrigenetic services, there is so many people asking for solutions, right? So in terms of vitamins, for example, I've been working in counseling for the last 5 years and so many clients have been struggling for more than 20 years or 10 years with different low levels of different vitamins. So as a consequence, when we share the different results, or when we are working in the counseling session, there is so much alignment for the different genetic results. So coming back to the update, we're going to get to the fourth part, the fourth area, which is biomarkers. In this area, we're going to see different cholesterol levels, omega-6, and how different triglyceride levels are working on. So let me explain you HDL cholesterol. In this completely case, HDL is quite related to the healthy cholesterol, the positive cholesterol, the one that we are eating in so many different ingredients. And from the nutrigenetic point of view, there are such a huge amount of genes that are already correlated to how our body is managing all the different cholesterol levels. So that's the reason why we emphasize genes such as FAT-S2 or SCARB1. Then we get to the LDL cholesterol. This is all the other way around, the HDL. This is the negative one. This is the unhealthy. This is the one that we are going to consume in fast food. Is the one which unfortunately is quite correlated to cardiovascular diseases that are one of the first reasons in the world of dying. And from the nutrigenetic point of view, there are so many different genes that are also impacting our healthy status in order to know how is my LDL cholesterol. So that's also the reason why, maybe in a counseling session, there are some patients that are already struggling with cardiovascular diseases, and I have maybe a risk predisposition to LDL cholesterol. I have to take into account those levels as well in order to co-regulate and try to balance from the diet point of view, to try to prevent and make better health decisions in the next decade. So getting back to the biomarker status, we can see that there are negative effects in terms of omega-6, but there are also positive or preventive effects in terms of triglyceride levels and Mediterranean diet. So those ones are the ones that are the ones that we are going to take into account in the nutrigenetic counseling session in order to, try to make the patient aware of what are the different risks and benefits. So last but not least, there is this other part, which is the last one of the report. We are talking here about Mediterranean diet and longevity. As you may already know, there is so many factors impacting in Mediterranean diet, and longevity is part of those. So there are so many parameters that we have to take into account in terms of longevity. How much stress I'm having at the moment, how I am eating, how many sports I'm doing, but there is also our genetic factor. So in the genetic point of view, there is this PPARG gene, which is quite correlated to, as far as I am eating and consuming much more Mediterranean diet, I could live longer. Then we have caffeine and addiction. This trait for me is quite interesting because I am a special coffee drinker. And there are, as maybe part of the audience already may know, the coffee consumption in the world is thousands of tons every single day. So as you may be aware, there is these tolerance levels that we may be metabolizing as much as we are drinking caffeine in our daily basis. So from the genetic point of view, there are genes such as GCKR or POR. Those genes are the ones that are correlated in the cognitive, in our neuronal system, in order to know how much I could be addicted to caffeine. So getting to the summary, just briefly to make the most critical areas that we have to be focused on in the session with our final customer. So we're gonna be focused on predisposition to emotional eating or to snacking. Also, we have to take into account the type 1 diabetes risk. Also, vitamin in terms of vitamins, there is this vitamin B12 levels, which is also a risk, omega-6. And in terms of protective alleles or benefits, there is this effectiveness of a low-fat diet, or if you have issue of weight loss. Also, there is a protective allele in terms of iron deficiency anemia, and also in terms of LDL cholesterol levels. So those are the ones, those traits are the ones that I got to summarize from this whole new update, this whole new report. As we already may be seeing along all this session, there is such a wide variety of new traits coming out in this update. So thanks a lot for everybody, and thanks for this little special time of the day.
All right, as you guys can see, it is a huge improvement in this test. First thing, we have more traits than ever, and we have discovered more things that we can say to our customers. The second thing is that the traits that we had in the past, they're stronger now. There are more scientific evidence that we can show and use in our algorithms in order to make it stronger. Some of the traits that we have in the past, they were the same trait for men than for women. And now we're able to do different algorithms, because at the end we have seen that there are different scientific evidence for women and for men. So sometimes, I mean, if you want to give the best information to our customers, you have to make sure that you do different things with men and with women. And sometimes we are even including the ancestry, because some traits are not the same for a European than from somebody from Asia or for Latin America. So that's something that we are doing also now, that as soon as we see a trait that is different for men, for women, or for different regions, we can change it. And the third thing that we have improved is the way we're explaining this to the customers. I know that you guys don't need too many explanations about this trait, because you know a little bit about all this science, but most of our customers, they see this kind of thing for the first time. So it's very important that they understand where we're chatting. So we've made a huge effort. And well, I want to congratulate my team, because this is just a great exercise. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Nacho. Just to take into account just two small points from the nutrigenetic update, there is more than 50% new traits coming out in this update. There are more than 21 new traits in both biological sexes, and there are up to 5 exclusive traits for each biological sex. So if we are a female, there are some exclusive traits that are coming out, and if I am male, again, there is also exclusive traits as well.
Well, thank you so much, Nacho and Manu. I think this explanation has helped us a lot to understand more about the new report. And as you know, we're open for questions. We already have some of them, so let's answer them together. First one, someone just saying hello from London. Hi, hi to everyone again. We're happy to have people, as we said, from all over the world. And the second one says, if both consider several genes or variants, what's the difference between multivariate analysis and GWAS?
Yeah, thanks a lot, Noelia. This is a fantastic question, and it's quite common. So the main difference between GWAS and multivariate analysis is that in the GWAS area, we are making a biostatistical analysis through a whole wide variety of genes. There is 20 genes or 40 genes, and we're gonna go for this Gauss bell, and we're gonna classify the different genetic profiles in above the average and below and above the average. So in terms of the multivariate analysis, we have to take into account that we are gonna see this is not a biostatistical analysis, it's mutations that we are seeing straightforward in the gene, and we are gonna take just 2 or 3 different concretely genes and see those markers, what are the different information that is coming out. So as you may be already be aware, there is a main difference. When you have multivariate analysis, is a more direct analysis in the DNA, and when you get to GWAS analysis, it's a biostatistical method.
Yeah, thank you so much, Manu. I think it's more than clear.
Let me add something else for the non-scientific persons. I'm not scientific, so I used to simplify a lot these kind of things. Okay, for those people that are not scientific, just to understand how the body works, is that DNA is coding through RNA and making a protein that is making something in our body. All right, that's the big thing, right? So sometimes we know the biochemicals that is under a trait. For example, I don't know, the metabolism of a vitamin. Maybe we know which genes are making the proteins needed for that metabolism. Some scientific research, they look for that metabolism. So we look for the mutation that is affecting that protein that makes that happen. But sometimes we don't even know what's going on in the body. But we know that some people have a trait and some people don't have that trait. I don't know, vitamin or cancer or whatever. So what we do, we take a look at the whole entire genome of the people that with the trait, low iron levels in blood, and the people without the trait, normal levels. And we just make a statistical, it's not a genetic study, it's a statistical study, as Manuel was saying. So we just, through our computers and machine learning, we try to see what the difference. I mean, maybe 75% of these people have this mutation and only 25% of these people have mutation. It's not 100% of these people have mutation and 0% of these people have the mutation. But then you have a lot of mutations going on with a relationship. If we go back to the basics of DNA makes RNA and makes protein, actually we have found that some genes, yes, they make the protein, but some other genes are affecting how much these genes expressing. So that's why in a GWAS, sometimes we normally got the gene that is affecting directly the trait, but we have a whole bunch of other genes that are affecting in a chain. This gene is affecting the expression of this gene, that is affecting the expression of the gene, that is, is building up this protein needed for bacteria on the body to work well. So in terms of how important they are both important. Normally, where we are talking about direct mutation is more straightforward. And when we are talking about GWAS, it's more soft. I mean, in case of diseases on the health report, if you have a mutation that we say is a pathological mutation, you have to take care of that. You got to go to a doctor. If we say in GWAS that you may be affected in the trait, talk to your doctor, but slow down. It's not that terrible. So GWAS is softer, but it's sometimes we get the right information where there is not other way to take it. Both are very important in protection. Direct mutations normally have more impact. Thank you.
Thank you, Nacho, for completing this answer. So the next question say, hi, please. For example, if the test say green on vitamin B6, what that mean exactly? Or for example, red on omega-6, what it mean? I think, yeah, please, if you can explain us again the traffic light scale we're using.
Yeah, absolutely, Noelia. Let me share once again my screen and let me go through. So I'm sorry. Let's get to the different colors. Sorry, get back to. You can see them here. All right. So the ligand color is based in two or three different colors. The green one is the one that is going to tell us about a positive effect or how a different diet is working so much better than other on me. Then we have a yellow color. The yellow color is going to tell us that we already checking the different international databases and you are in the average. You know, you have no advantage or you don't have a disadvantage in that concretely trait. But then we have a red color. The red color is going to tell us, you know, how much negative effect I have or how much deficit levels I have in a concrete trait. So if we go to vitamin levels, as you already your question was, there is some traits that we are gonna see that there is a red color, such as vitamin B12 levels, and in this case, this means that I have a pretty negative effect in terms of nutrigenetics. So if we go to the iron levels, we can see that there is a red color, but mix it with a yellow color. So in this case, it's going to tell us that we have a negative effect, but it's not that terrible, all right? So in this case, is negative, but it's not a terrible negative effect. And then we have a yellow color. The yellow color is going to tell us, you know, you are in the average. There is you just have a standard risk for the different vitamins. And then we have a yellow green. The yellow green that we can see in the vitamin B9 levels is going to tell us that we have protective effects in terms of vitamin B9, or, you know, in terms of already green color, such as vitamin D levels. There is these different genes that are telling us, you know, you have a whole positive protective allele in terms of vitamin D.
But at the end, the good thing is that you can go to the page where you can see just one page for vitamin B12, for example, and there is a text. And that text is explaining you exactly what that red color is telling to you. So, you know, it's time you have a question, you just go to the vitamin 12 or whatever you're looking for. And that's what genetics tell about you. And that's, you have the sentence of exactly where we're meaning with those colors in your case.
Yeah, exactly. At the end, you can see what does your genetics say in there. You can find what do we mean. So thank you again. And the next question say, comparing to the new report's introduction with the older one, I have seen that's much longer. Why? So I'm glad to know that people do read the introduction. Manu, if you can.
I don't know if Nacho wanna iterate.
Yeah, at the end, I mean, the thing is that when we do an array on when we do our DNA test, we make an array of 730,000 SNPs. That's our mutation, however you wanna tell them, call them. And the thing is that we use a whole bunch of them. But there is a huge amount of those mutations that we see that are today under research. So I would say most of the SNPs or mutation or polymorphisms that we're looking at, they are on research. So that means that there are universities and research centers researching about maybe vitamins and some of those genes, some of those mutations. And today they're useful. They are not useful for us at all. But maybe in 6 months, MIT or Boston University or Oxford or whomever is researching is able to make some evidence on those on vitamin D or a new vitamin that we don't have yet. So that's the reason why each time we have more and more traits, more and more information on our test. I'm going to put a request on this Zoom. So it's anonymous request. Survey about the quality of this thing. So if you guys can answer, we would appreciate.
Okay, thank you. In the next question, say, is it normal that same gene appears as involved in different traits? This is a good one.
Yeah, absolutely, Noelia. As I mentioned before, there are so in the nutrigenetic world, there are some genes that are quite famous and quite popular because they have a huge weight in different metabolism routes. So the thing is that when we are talking about overweight or different diets, we're going to see this FTO gene, for example, which is quite common, and we are going to check it out in different pages in our nutrigenetic update. And the reason why we're going to see it at the same gene is because this multivariate function and multifunctional analysis and ways that we are this FTO gene is going to work out in different traits. So as we already see in some parts of the report, this FTO gene already appears, and is because of that. Also, just to add a little complement to the answer, there is also, as we can see at the end of each page, the different publication and researches, genetic researches that most of our traits are based on.
Okay, perfect. And the next one, also a good opportunity to talk about it. So it says, in the presentation, the type 1 diabetes is shown in red, and iron deficiency is shown in green. Does this mean there is a high possibility of type 1 diabetes and low possibility of iron deficiency?
Yeah, absolutely. That's absolutely right. Let me share one more time the presentation in order to explain briefly this part. So we can see down here that type 1 diabetes in this example, for example, there is this risk situation. So that means that from the nutrigenetic point of view, there are so many different genes that are correlated to the risk. But then if we get to iron deficiency anemia, we are understanding and we are studying and analyzing different genes which are only related to anemia. So at the end, in the counseling session, or the final customer has to understand that there is a risk for this type 1 diabetes, and I have protective alleles for iron deficiency anemia. Just to take into account, or just to remind you as a reminder, that when I have risk trait for, let's say, type 1 diabetes, there is also all these whole parameters that we have to also to be be aware of, such as, you know, how much stress I'm having at the moment, or how much I am eating, or how many sports I'm doing at the moment. So in between all the different environmental factors and the genetic one, we have to, you know, take the best options.
Okay, perfect. And the next one says, can you explain in a little more detail what environmental factors are?
Yeah, absolutely. This is also a quite common question on the counseling sessions. So we describe environmental factors when we are talking about this whole huge variety of parameters that we are surrounded in our daily basis. So we have to talk about stress levels. We have to talk about sleeping habits. We have to talk about how I am eating at the moment. I am eating healthy or I am eating unhealthy. How many times I am doing sports. You know, all those different factors are the ones that play a completely new role in environmental factors, you know, in the group of environmental factors. So when we are talking, summing up the different diets, for example, when we are talking about Mediterranean diet or protein diet, we have to take into account our genetics, but also environmental factors. So as a matter of fact, if we have a protective allele for a protein diet, it means that I have to take into account my nutrigenetics, but it doesn't mean that I have to start eating fast food in order to, you know, I have protective allele for this, so let's increase my fast food because, you know, my genetics are protecting me. You know, that's the reason why I have to take into account environmental factors and genetic as one.
Thank you so much, Manu. And someone is asking, is it possible to quantify the traffic stop bars, like maybe a percentage representation as well? I think I'm going to try to answer this question. So we cannot talk about a percentage since we do not have 1% to compare with, as long as the science continue to advance and make new discoveries. Manu and Nacho, if you want to add something to this.
Yeah, I mean, this is not an exact science. So, well, actually, when we're talking about 5 different precisions in this color bar, that we have green, yellow, green, yellow, red, red. Actually, yes, you can consider it's one of those precisions like a 20%, right? So a green can be 100% good, a red can be 0% good. But you know, to write this percentage is not realistic, as far as this is not an exact science. We're talking about predisposition. The science is not, you know, totally well designed as a body, because so many things is affecting our body. So it would not be realistic. You are 36.5% of risk on vitamin C or whatever. So yes and no. I mean, yes, if you take these red flags and different position as percentage, each position is like a 20%, but we don't want to show that to our customers. That could be misunderstood.
Okay, thank you so much. It's already more than an hour, so there are a couple questions that we will answer in private. I don't know if you, Nacho, want to close this meeting with any message for our partners. At the end, I would like to remember how to order for partners the free nutrigenetics update. And before saying thank you again, Nacho and Manu, if you want to add anything.
Yeah. Well, first, I want to appreciate the hard work of the 24 Genetics team for making this happen. And yeah, I'm excited about all the good new things, good new products that we are going to launch in the next few months. And I like to thank all these people, all these great partners coming from all over the world. I've seen that there's some new companies that are not a partner yet of us. So I guess, Noelia, now you can tell them all the solutions we have. And yes, please write us your comments, how we can make your business easier. We're focusing on our products, and I think we're going to focus more on communication with you guys in the future, in order to make sure that you guys know everything, what's going on in 24 Genetics. And thank you very much for helping all the customers all over the world to make their life easier. Thank you.
So from my side, it's a pleasure to explain all the whole new update. As Nacho said, there are so many people working behind the scene, and so many efforts. So it's such a pleasure for us to explain this completely new report. And as Nacho said before, there are so many others coming out. So thank you, everybody, to be here, and we will be working as we have been working until now, 24/7 to improve our genetics.
Thank you so much, guys. I just wrote in the chat the web for our business partner program. For those who are partners, remember that you can still order until the end of the month the free nutrigenetic test. So I'm going to write again in the chat the coupon code and the link where you have to order it. Remember to use the kit code of your client. And for those who are not partners yet, I'm going to share my screen so we can see again. I'm sure you already been here checking all the information about our business partner program. Remember that if you scroll down, you're going to find this table where you can see all the options that we have for partners. And if you can find in this table option that fits your need, please contact us, because I'm sure we can find a way to work together. So we will be waiting for hearing your needs in trying to find a solution for you. And this is all. Everybody, thank you again for joining us. We will put this video on our YouTube channel and send you the link so you can see it again or share it with your colleagues. They couldn't join us today. And we will send you news soon for our how it's going to be this program about webinars, because we are planning to have a lot more. Thank you again, and have a good day.
Thank you guys. Bye bye. Stay tuned.